In Genesis 28, verse 12, it says, "And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it." It says, if the ladder represents Christ, the angels as messengers, God the Father at the head, Jacob at its foot, it means a complete connection with heaven and the true Israel. The latter rain, the loud cry of the third angel's message. That's what the ladder represents in total. God is telling Jacob, Davidian Jacob, that he has to reach the top. But he is going to give him the tools to make progress. And the tools are found in the bowl. But as Jacob, Davidian Jacob, climbs the ladder, he will experience something called acrophobia, the fear of heights. You see, there's a fear to move forward sometimes. Because as you move forward and you get higher up the ladder, you have to leave some stuff behind. And you become more isolated, more humanly lonely. But God is saying to you, press higher. As we get higher, some have a craving to look down, to be back down to ground zero. Because on ground zero, where we were spiritually, it's comfortable down there. Where we came from, it's more familiar. We know more people. There are less attacks. God is saying, I am going to be with you. Now, this ladder, what does this ladder represent? It says, in faith I live by, Jesus is the ladder. Who? Jesus is the ladder. And God calls upon us to mount this ladder. Start climbing. Start moving. But listen to the steps of the ladder. It says, faith, virtue, knowledge, temperance, patience, godliness, brotherly kindness, and charity are the rounds of this ladder. So it doesn't matter what my position may be. God is telling me this is the rounds that I must climb. And it says those who mount must place their feet firmly on each round of the ladder. Because there's a tendency to place our feet very, very slightly on the ladder. But he wants a firm placement. Once you start practicing something, you cannot go back. You have nothing to go back to. It says, but we do not walk fast enough. We take too many back steps. The next quotation tells us, we take a step back into the world, to the gratification of earth, and then we take a step toward heaven. And then we take a step back, and then we take a step toward heaven. We go back and forth and back and forth, which amount to no movement. But the dream gave Jacob great courage, and he made a vow. When you know where you ought to be, and you are not now there, you have to trust in him, because this process is not going to be pretty. It will be traumatic for some and uncomfortable, but God reassures Jacob. And that's what we look at in part 3 when we look at the birthright.